Furia beat Crew and then Sentinels, and while that was a really big accomplishment for a team like Furia, it was all reasoned away. Crew had a sub-roster, Sentinels are not in form right now, and I think most people expected them to fall back down to earth against G2. G2 has ran Americas for the past 2 years, and it was expected that they would continue to do so. And while it isn't out of the question that they make a lower bracket run, Furia now are 1 game away from qualifying to a Masters after a year where they didn't win a single game with their main roster. That is what true roster turnaround is, and in this video, we're going to go over how Furia was able to show that they're here by beating G2 and put the rest of Americas and the world on notice. I'm Lionzblade. If you guys could subscribe, it would mean a ton. I've got like 43 days left until my birthday, and I'm trying to hit 10K by then, so hit that subscribe button. It's free and helps me out a ton, and let's get into it. On the bonus round here, Furia literally just sit here outside of A. They wait out utility, they wait, they put the wall up and down a little bit as Valen over here is smoked off B main trying to get this control. Then G2 decide, okay, we know they're not B main because we don't hear anything and we have Valen put there. Now, they could be mid, and I want you to keep in mind, Valen has used both smokes. They have nothing here other than obviously the wall to actually commit to A. Then they go to re-clear mid. Keep in mind, Furia have shown no presence thus far. Nothing, right? They broke the haunt, but that's it. And so they're just sitting here, and they end up going. The Prowler doesn't even get any actual connections there, and as they go down towards the A-bomb site, it's given up for free. Even Heaven is free. And this is going to be super important because once G2 come back from mid and they do this little gun switch, which by the way, teams need to be so much more aware of gun switching. There are so many situations where things like that can be round winning. When a guy's low, when a guy's whatever. This won them the round. Just swapping those guns because they're able to put EU up here towards Heaven. The wall goes down and they're just not really aware, right? Babybay tried to clear it, but didn't do it. And so then EU gets to, and they're forced to save. I mean, as well, these guns, right? You have shotguns, you have stingers, specters. That's going to be super difficult to retake against. And so G2 are immediately shut down just from that play. And from Furia being aware of, okay, this situation, right? Let the guy that's going to go to the site, give him the close range weapon, and then let's give the guy with the sniper, EU, a chance to make things happen. Great round. Now, G2 can finally buy. I love this TP right here, first of all, because as you can see, G2 a couple rounds have been right here in B main, trying to take early aggressive B main control. If they hear that TP, they're assuming it's a TP into B main. It would bring someone over. Really high IQ play as Furia end up going just towards A into Jogamo with the op. Now, we do need to have a conversation about Jogamo, and it's a very nuanced conversation, I think. A lot of people will see that Jogamo is currently the 2nd worst rated player in VCT Americas, below guys like Zelsis and Governor, and go, okay, he's washed, right? Something happened. And while I won't deny that it's not a great look to be whiffing on Fade Prowlers, right? That's not a great look, but you have to keep this in mind. His team changed out probably the greatest person in terms of utility on their roster for a guy who's better at shooting, right? I think Babybay, at this point, he's proven he can be a good shooter. You cannot expect the utility of guys like Leaf to be up to par with Jonah P. That's one thing. Another thing is, in this meta, if you're having a guy solo anchor, he's going to get util dumped. That's just how it is, right? Especially against a comp like this where they have so much utility. I want you to watch what they use to push him off the line. I'm going to count it out for you guys, all right? Fade Dog here, then Paranoia. He dashes back, then there's going to be, just wait, the clone, which, yeah, again, not a great look for him to shoot. I'm not saying he hasn't declined a little bit, but a lot of it is because of the system he's playing within, and he lost his teammate that was the best at setting him up. Then the clone, the actual Fade Eye, he backs up here, then gets dashed on, prowlered again, the exit for him is smoked off, and then he gets spammed, and there was an attempt for the Waylay utility. Nobody, unless you're ass pass, nobody is getting away from all that, right? It's just not that possible. So yeah, he dies here, and you know, you're gonna laugh because he whiffed on the Fade Dog, whatever, right? And I'm not gonna pretend that he hasn't had a bit of a decline in terms of literally just hitting shots, but let's not act like it's not without its nuance and its causes. It's not that he just suddenly went from a 1.1 rating type of player. To be fair, his rating was never that great, but like a good player to a completely terrible player with no change. Now, this Fatal ends up coming out from EU, and I love how they play this. They wait, they have right here, as soon as Artson dips out of this utility, they are ready for this Fatal when this happens. So the Paranoia comes out, a Limb starts fighting into it, and then EU immediately Fatals to try and help him out there. Babybay, don't get me wrong, he's a good player. He's a professional player. If one more person calls him a podcaster, I might lose my mind. He's been on a pro team. They kicked an elite player to get him on the pro team. He is a pro player. He is no longer a podcaster. But right here, he just doesn't really seem to be aware of the fact that Artson could be on site at all, which does make a little bit of sense if you think about it, because Artson didn't swing to help Alem in the fight. But right here, knife out, just not looking, and ends up dying to Artson right there. Artson also gets it onto Trent. Yeah, just unfortunate, right? Also, Artson has been an amazing add to this squad. I've said it in the last video, but I don't think that Artson would have been kicked from an IBR unless they were literally making a super team, which they have. So he's a great player. His utility especially is insane. Another thing that makes this Furia team so good is with their Waylay Yoru, their side executes are just elite, right? I know it's crazy to say that something about Furia is elite. If this was a year ago, you would have assumed I was joking. No, their side executes are genuinely top notch here with this Waylay Yoru. Alem clears Valen here. There end up being 3 people involved in this for G2, and they only managed 1 kill. Trent on site, able to get the kill into Koala Noob, and then bang. But just wait. G2 have another chance to come back into this round. Leaf is on the backline here. He has his breach ult. When the pit goes down, I think their mentality here is literally, okay, if we get a kill, we'll breach ult. And they do. Nice little spam kill from Leaf there, and it's a 3v2 situation. But this, I think, more than anything, this round shows what has happened to the Leaf Baby Bay, Jonah P situation. Leaf, I think his best attribute as a player, obviously he's a cracked aimer, but his positioning is so good. That gets taken completely away from him when he's on Breach, right? Breach, you have to play a lot differently than you would to literally any other agent because your value as an initiator is supporting your teammates. You have to set up behind them so you can support, help them out. Alem ends up dying here because of the Breach ult. Then, Jogamo, again, I know fragging-wise he hasn't done too well. His Waylay utility is still great, but look at this, right? Leaf, he's holding for Jogamo back here. They don't know where EU is, so he's holding back here. Then, when Jogamo starts to take this fight, he turns and pulls the flash out, right? Then, he flashes and then doesn't swing off of it. He gets scared or something. I don't know how to explain this. I don't think he got blinded by his own flash. It would have been, I mean, very, very, almost impossible to do there. But for whatever reason, he doesn't actually fully peek out. Then he just helps EU know, hey, I'm right here. Just hold your crosshair and you can kill me. And then he dies. Again, Leaf is a great player, and I'm not trying to be like super vague and be like, oh, I know something you don't know. When you understand what went down with G2, it makes a little bit, I don't want to necessarily say it makes sense, but you understand why it happened. But I mean, this roster looks a lot worse, and that is no diss to Furia. Furia, obviously, being able to roll this roster is an incredible achievement, but this is a lot worse of a team, I think. Not because of individual characteristics. Baby Bay is a great player. He could probably be tier 1 on other teams, but Leaf has fallen off because of the role they're forcing onto him, taking away some of his best attributes. This round from Furia is also just elite because they know exactly what G2 are doing and counter it perfectly, right? They go and they Yoru ult through mid to counter the Viper ult that they think will happen. Baby Bay tries to body block him, but it doesn't work out, and they fake a B take. This makes not only Jogamo worried about mid, but also Trent comes all the way over towards B from A, giving them a pretty open A bomb site here. Now, I will say Leaf gets back in, and Jogamo ends up killing Koala Noob anyways right there, but the point is, that was because Artson literally like couldn't smoke it in time. He's running away as fast as he can because he's the gingerbread man or something. I forgot the nursery rhyme. Anyways, Jogamo gets the kill because it's not smoked, but Alem trades it out on site. And I want you to notice EU here, right? EU's a guy, while he was on 100 Thieves, because 100 Thieves are kind of just a middle-of-the-pack organization, I think he was thought of as a middle-of-the-pack player, right? And going to Furia, I think kind of proves that, because preseason, I don't imagine many people had high hopes about him, but he's so intelligent with when to use his utility, and fragging-wise, he's great as well. Watch this. He is not ulting yet. He's not using the Fade ult because he doesn't want to give away his position, so he can get this kill onto whatever the ramp player, whoever it is, ends up being Baby Bay, because they don't know he's there. If he had ulted right here when they started flooding from heaven, then they would have known he was there. Baby Bay would have been more on guard. Instead, EU gets the kill, and then has the perfect Fade ult, catches all 3, and then they end up winning the round right there. Valen tries his best, but G2 do not have a great history with split A. If you know, you know, and EU takes that round. Great calling and great stuff. G2 need to win this pistol round if they want a realistic chance at coming back, but I want to talk about the smokes. They smoke ramp and do a CT orb, which is normally not how it goes. Normally you orb ramp and then do a CT smoke, but the orb is also a little bit messed up. You can see it doesn't go here. Now there is a small chance that it was intended to go here, but you saw it like bounce. I don't know if you saw it right here, but if you look back here, you can see it like bounce, and I think it hit a stair or something, maybe went back. I have no idea, but this orb ends up blooming and giving a limb a kill onto Leaf. Then EU comes down from heaven, and it's just not great. Again, don't get me wrong, it could have technically been meant to go there to isolate the fights. I don't think it was though, but 4v2 scenario, and again, they just get overwhelmed, man. I mean, that's what it is. They get overwhelmed on the site, isolated by their own Viper orb, able to get some of those kills. Baby Bay dead to heaven, and then they just win the round, and Furia should be able to take this one home. Another thing about Furia is on this last round, look at how disrespectful they're willing to get on their defense, right? You have Koala Noob literally running down the lurker in Baby Bay, right? They have a limb Koala Noob doing a set play to kill this lurker. They are being so aggressive on the defense here, and I think that's something that's really, really good, especially when you're a team coming into the game. G2 were the pretty heavy favorites, right? I don't think anyone was really expecting Furia to win this, and I love when people just play with aggression, knowing, hey, you've got nothing to lose, everything to gain, and Furia did just that, winning against G2. Make sure to comment below what team I should do next and what video I should do for tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Lionzblade. Take it easy. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.